Hi, my name is Jonas. Today we're going to go through a few tips and tricks on how to create sounds on the Yamaha Reface CS. Most of these tips and tricks are easily applicable to any other synth, so without further ado, let's get to it. For starters, let's look how to create some interesting paths. Let's start with everything on 0, so we don't hear anything at all. Now we'll open up the decay and open up the filter. We'll start with a square wave. So use square wave. Nothing much yet. Let's put the filter envelope in the picture as well. So you can hear it opening up and closing already. Now we increase the attack. Some sustain, so we can keep on holding the note. Let's decrease the cutoff a little bit again. So at first, the attack stage will open up the filter until the decay stage is reached. Then it drops down to the sustain level, and then we'll add some release. So if we release the note, it will gradually fade away. We'll do that both with the filter as with the amplitude. Let's put the texture parameter on the max so we get an extra octave. Play it a little bit lower. Now for the square wave, the mod is actually pulse width modulation. So it means the width of the pulse waveform will change if you increase this parameter. We can modulate it with the LFO and then it becomes more interesting. So first let's hear what it is doing. And now let's modulate it with the LFO. To make it even more wider, we'll use the chorus effect. Depth not too much. The rate can be quite high. And suddenly it's all a lot wider. The stereo image really opens up. And to really finish up any path sound, it's always a good idea to add some reverb to the mix. It's not available on the Yamaha Reface CS, so I'm going to use the Valhalla reverb in Cubase. And you can hear the movement of the LFO modulating the pulse width really nice. Let's create another path sound based on the saw oscillator. So I'm going to keep the chorus settings because they will be useful. The reverb is still on as well. So for now, it's just going to be a saw wave. The chorus is already doing its job. We're going to put texture to the max, so we add another sub oscillator, another saw waveform. Mod we can increase as well. It's going to detune the oscillators. Bit of resonance, more attack. Bit of filter envelope. And now we'll modulate the pitch of the oscillator. If you do it a lot, you can really hear it wobbling. But what we want here is a nice vibrato. Something like this. The second trick is going to be using the filter self-oscillation to actually get another oscillator and create some interesting sounds. Let's open the cutoff and the decay a little bit. Nothing yet. Now let's go crazy. The resonance on max. Filter starts self-oscillating now and you will hear another sine wave. You can tune this sine wave by, just playing with the cutoff. Can be really deep. Actually a very good ingredient for percussive sounds like kicks. But we are going to get it a little bit higher. Because you can tune it and it's actually tracking the keyboard, so when you play other notes it will follow the keys and it will be very musical. That's a really cool thing here. You can create these drawbar organ-like sounds, for example. Let's play a little bit lower. We can combine with the saw oscillator and its sub oscillator, so we have a little bit more growl to it. When you start using the filter envelope in combination with this, things could get interesting, because then of course the filter is opening up and closing according to the envelope, and yeah, well, it will change the pitch of this oscillator. So let's see what happens. And this is where you can start to get percussive sounds like kicks. Let's go for that one again. So just use this as a FM, so we have a sine wave. It's a matter of playing a little bit with the decay and sustain, but if you find a sweet spot, then you have these nice sub-bass kicks like this. Could be really cool to add some distortion to this. Let's try that. As you can hear, it's a very interesting sound design tool on this Reface CS and on many other synths that can have self-oscillating filters. It's always worth to see what it can do, put the resonance on max and hear what happens. sometimes it gives really interesting results. Another cool trick to mess around with is playing with the LFOs and increasing the speed until they go to audio range. You can get all kinds of really extreme effects, and it could be an interesting base for sound effects. Let's try something. Just let's use a saw wave. And let's modulate the pitch, for example, and put the speed on max. And lots of depth. Well, what this is actually doing is a kind of very dirty frequency modulation, also known as FM. That is already a quite extreme, nice, cool sound effect. Let's add some delay. Modulate the filter maybe instead. As you can hear, many possibilities to create some really cool out-of-this-world sounds. Something a bit more practical now, some good old Punchy FM bass. Let's put it on the FM oscillator, a little bit of decay. Of course, open the filter. Until now, it's just a sound wave, a little bit lower. Let's start modulating this oscillator a little bit. What we're looking for, or actually what we're listening for, is this nice kind of woody sound. At a certain point, with the right combination of texture and mod, you will hear it. What already helps, of course, is to add in a filter envelope so we can get the right kind of punchiness to the sound. There we are. Now add maybe some chorus. We can also try some distortion, but let's go for chorus first. And as a final thing, instead of chorus, let's use some distortion and see what happens. And for the final thing of today, just let's try something. I have an idea where I'm going to use the square wave form, tune the second square wave to be the second note in a triad chord, and then use the filter self oscillation and tune it to be the third note in a triad. Then we have this one finger chord that we can play across the keyboard, a bit like the classic rave stabs. It will probably sound a little bit sine wavy, but maybe it could be interesting. So let's go for the square. Tune it already. So this is our root note, and we want the second note to be tuned to the second note in the triad. So this is a chord we're going to get at the end. Or maybe this chord could be more interesting. Yeah, let's go for a minor. So the second square wave got to be tuned to this note. You can already hear it. And now that's our self-oscillating filter note. Let's increase the pulse width a little bit so we can hear the second note of that square wave a little bit better. Ah, there it goes. Maybe some distortion to really bring it out. So yes, just a random grip out of the many techniques you can use to create sounds on the Reface CS and many other synthesizers, but it's mostly to kind of spark some inspiration and have some starting point to create your own sounds. And that's it again for today. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.